Just wait. Follow us on social media as @MoneyHub_official on all our social media platforms. And we are streaming live on Ed Zipporah, right? Zipporah. Ed Zipporah. I am Zipporah. We're streaming live on Instagram, so you can join us and send your comments through to my guest. Today, my guest is Mr. Pabna Abin Dakum. He is an engineer, an entrepreneur, as well as an author. Let me tell you some of the books that he has written. He's written books like Perspective, How to Develop the Mindset to Start and Build Your Business, Streamline, How to Teach Yourself Money, and other books. Resilience, How to Develop Courage, Strength as an Entrepreneur, and the list goes on and on. He is an entrepreneur as well as an engineer and an author, and there is none other to help us to develop that mindset. I am eager to hear what he has for me today, and I tell you why. From Wednesday, I've been wrapping myself in bed. I'm like, I'm tired. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And people are sending me flowers, sending me chocolate. They're like, oh, Casandra, get out of bed. Because they know that I'm always having that resilient mindset. I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And for the first, I'm like, I'm done. Maybe, can't you wait? Maybe, make call. Yes, I'm as real as can be. I share with you my life because yes, that is how we grow on this show. I don't come here and tell you that I'm always resilient. No, there are times when I give up. And so let's find out from our guest today, who is an expert when it comes to resilience, on how we can have that mindset. Kavna, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you.
Glad to be here.
The truth of the matter is, I am that person that, sometimes people think, where do you get your energy? You're always having some energy, blah, 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 blah. And this week I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. And I also heard that a friend of mine who is also, just like me, I thought that, will never break down, will never go down, will never lose, faith or courage or will never be down. Also had like a minor breakdown this week. I was like, oof, okay. If we have to develop a positive mindset, is that the same thing as resilience? Or is resilience basically never giving up? And also, at what point do you leave this whole resilient thing and say, listen, I'm done. I'm done. Can someone just carry me? Samina, I am eager to hear from you today.
Wow.
You need to give me something to get me out of it.
Yes, my regards to everybody.
Yeah.
Glad to see you again.
Thank you for coming.
Resilience is required. It does not mean that you don't fall down. You fall down, but then you don't stay down. You must get up. And the one who is resilient falls down and gets up to fight again. Because life, nobody goes through life as if there's no fight. You're fighting. You're fighting mentally. You're fighting, in terms of relationship, financially, in everything.
Yeah.
And so it's not you will not. Even champions, every one of them. There's nobody who has achieved anything in any area who will say that, yes, I began and I was just on that trajectory.
I never went down.
So it's more of, I call it the kind of God within you.
The kind of
God within you. You connect with that. And it comes from your sense of being, your sense of purpose.
Yes.
This is what my life is about. And so if you give up on that, then what do you live for? So that is really resilience, to say that you connect with a higher purpose. This is what I live for. This is why I'm doing this. And I'm not doing it just for me, but I'm doing it for the lives that I'm changing, the people that I'm lifting, the value that I'm bringing.
You just talked about, a higher calling, doing it for people, not just you.
Not you.
So basically, that becomes the basis of you
not quitting, because people are waiting for you. If you give up, many will be lost.
Yes.
And so because of that, you keep on fighting.
When we talk about resilience, does it mean that there is never a time where we're thinking negative? There is never a time where should we be optimistic all the time?
I'm not sure.
Be resilient?
I'm not sure there is anybody who is always optimistic. It's natural that some things will make you think the other side.
Yes.
You're not always optimistic, but you must, in terms of the dominance, the positivity must overcome the negativity. And yes, the resultant effect should be that you're an optimistic person, right? That's not me.
Okay.
It does not mean that you don't see the negativity.
You don't see the negativity.
But you don't operate with the negativity and you don't dwell on the negativity.
You don't operate with it and you don't dwell with it. That's the most important thing. When it comes to our beliefs in resilience, you know, especially in these times where things are changing all the time. So we might believe in something maybe 3 years ago, but then we realize that now things have changed. Now, where does resilience come in trying to focus on what you believed in from the beginning? Because you talked about the God in us.
Yes.
Some believe.
Yeah.
Now, you believed in something before you started a certain path.
Yes.
But things have changed.
Yeah.
So how do we stick to our belief in the midst of adaptability or trying to fit into the system and the new things that have come?
I think belief is a derivative of information as well. Wow. Your exposure. And so the more information you gather, the better you become in terms of knowledge. The more polished your beliefs become. And so it's not like you are stuck with this. You started with that, with knowledge based on what you were exposed to. But you gather more, you experience more, you read more, you search more. Absolutely. And then your belief must grow with that. And so there's some bit of adaptability. You know, you have to be flexible because then you will stick with what method. And even if it's not working, you say that this is it. And the world that we live in, those who succeed are those who are able to move as they gather more. You know, they're able to maneuver. If you want. Yes.
I love that. That's
it's actually very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Because I think we've been talking about how to establish. I think last week you even gave an example of Jason, your son, setting goals the year before and having not accomplished that goals. Now you're in the new goal, the new year, and you want to set new goals, but you haven't even accomplished the previous year's goals. And I think something you said, which was so important, was that let's look at that old goal. Where did we not accomplish it? Where did we fall short of actually accomplishing this goal? And so what you were saying about adaptability is actually very important, because we have to add that onto what we already have. As in, we shouldn't just lose our goals every time that we encounter so many difficulties, but we should be adaptable enough to see the new way, the new direction that we can use to accomplish that same goal we want to accomplish. Of, you know, goals that are beyond ourselves, that are for the community, that's for other people, which last longer and for generations. But how do we accomplish it? Policies change, environments change, the dollar rate changes, you know, but how can you still continuously, even in that, believing that you want to do this thing and still adapting, maneuvering in order to go and achieve that belief that you have, that I believe that this is what I want to accomplish. So that's such a beautiful dynamic that you just shared with us. That's amazing.
Give us some specific, you know, when it comes to resilience, these days I'm trying to look for the actual attributes.
Yes.
And so when was that when we talked about, was it integrity? Was it integrity? We're looking for the actual attributes that makes a person of integrity.
Yes.
So when we say someone is resilient, what are the attributes we will see in that person? What kind of characteristics will the person display for us to say this person is resilient?
I think there is some bit of purity, some bit of truth, higher sense of philosophy for life. The person is truthful to himself or herself, and then you're truthful to the environment. You know, and I think there's some level of intelligence as well. It does not play on the foolish level, if you want. You know, not everybody is ready for that kind of level. You know. So a lot of people like fun and comedy and sports and things like that. But those who want to really do something to change the course, they are different, and the way the things that they stand for are different. What feeds them is different. Even if when you're communicating with them, the questions that they ask, they're different. And I think that is the kind of generation that our continent actually needs. A generation that is thinking at a very high level to say that which are the primary things that are confronting us. How do we change them? And it's not going to be easy, but we need a certain class of thinkers. You know, these are the things. So when they meet and they are discussing, you know, they are not the ones talking about pizza and, you know, things like that. Those are the ones for those, not the majority. The few who can cause traumatic or critical change are those who are searching for the truth.
For an entrepreneur,
yes,
someone who is starting a business, someone who is already in a business, this is a tough environment.
Yes, and that's why it's not for the weak.
It's an extremely tough environment.
Yes.
Now, what do we have to do on a daily basis? Like, do we have to, I don't know, do we have to say some words? Now, you know what I mean.
I think the bottom, I think the bottom line is full commitment to continuous learning. Full commitment. You must be hungry for knowledge. You must feed on knowledge all the time. You must be honing your craft if you want, your tools, your mindset, your skill set, your relationship constantly. It's just like gears that are moving, you know, in your car. There's always a lubricant. If the lubricant is not there, the heat, the amount of heat that the gears will generate, it will break down. So it's just like using water to cool a system, which is generating heat. Life is generating a lot of heat. And the very thing that you need to cool the heat is the knowledge, is the self-development, is the constant position to say that, yes, I'm ready to learn, to ask questions constantly. And that's life. And so those who stay and who are not able to take the fight with entrepreneurship is because they think that they are all. And therefore they don't need any addition. They don't need any knowledge. So they hardly read, they hardly search. It's just like using a cutlass which is blatant or which is blunt. You can't do much with it. But if the one who is sharpening it, and the knowledge is what you need to sharpen it. So if somebody says, I'm going to do business, especially those of you with higher education, because your education has really primed you not to take risk and not to fight for anything. And the tools that you need to really succeed in business. If you're an African, you're running a business here, you really don't understand the environment. A lot of the information they have given you is not here. And so you, with your MBA and your finance, they don't work here. You know, so you are going to go through outside, and the infrastructure is even outside. You see, and you're looking at trying to pick people and train them based on that. You don't even have the financial support. You know, the financial infrastructure we have is entirely different from what they have. They use sponsorship. You have to grind. You have to fight. And even when you start to do well, your friends are telling you, why are you doing this? I don't know how Hosa, you know. You went to school, get a government job, become a politician, you know. Why do you want to pick this product? That's right. So you have to be a different kind of person, which means that you need to understand your environment, your culture, the things that are good, the things that are not good. You really have to be very much optimistic, and you have to be systemic in terms of thinking. And you really have to also see that this is something that I have to do for my country. You know, and it's even the government institutions are technically set to suppress you if you look at it, because you have not evolved to that stage where we are embracing and supporting them to grow. We don't. Look at your interest rate, look at your tax agencies. Everybody, you open a provision shop, you don't have a job, you open a provision shop, they are coming with a chain to lock you and tell you that who even told you. They didn't give you money. In some countries, because of whatever that they have built, and much of it is based on their culture, especially if you come to university and what they teach you. You can't do much with it. And so when you finish school, you really have to unlearn almost everything before you can really be an entrepreneur and start to build something without any support, whether from people, financial, or the structure that we have.
I mean, this is crazy. Looking at everything that you've said, all I'm hearing, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners are hearing, is that all the odds are stacked up against us.
Yes.
How are we going to make it?
That's right.
When the odds are stacked up against us. So when it comes to mindset with resilience, do we have to embrace the challenge, embrace all these, in some quote unquote, negative odds?
Yes.
And what about failures, for example? As an entrepreneur, I'm sure you have failed in many areas that you had to recover from. How can we see that failure happening, go through that failure of maybe even making 1,000 CDs to making 0, from making 10,000 to making 0? How do we continue coming back for more?
Yes.
How did you come back?
All right. The things are stuck against you because you're looking at them from a different eye. American standard, British standard. Your sister who did not go to school is selling wachi and she's succeeding. But when you want to start a business, you want an office, you want a car, a secretary, business plan, models, accountant. That's the structure that they have. We don't have that. So the opportunities are not with the training that we have. And that's really where the opposition is. But if you get down, you said you have gone to school, no problem. You see the people who are selling both food, they make money. And when you want to start a business, you don't need a very, grand idea, especially when it's your first. Just do something in the community that people want and they will pay you. You will learn the same processes and you understand what works. And I think that is where many of us fail. There are so many opportunities in our country that even though the system is still not good, that is if you want to go their standard. If you turn the other way, Antioquia has sold how many things on the market? And she has built houses from them, taking children to school. She has no accountant. She has no brand, nothing. But she's doing it. Because many of us, that is a level that we have to pick from. So it depends on where you're looking at it. So when it comes to failure, it's part of the process. When the child starts to walk, they have to fall. And I think it's a refinery. You are refining yourself.
So every time we fall, we must be like, okay, cool, we're falling the first time. 10,000 times more to go.
Yes. Actually, that's it. Because there's a lot of impurity in you. That's why you fail. The more you become a bit refined, in terms of decision making and even relationship, everything, you're trying. And so if your decisions are right, you succeed. The decisions are wrong, that's why you fail. And the decisions are contingent on the information that is available to you, which means that the more you learn, you know when to step and when not to step. So it gets to a point that you're able to step where, and then you start to where. And so that's where you need the resilience, actually. You need resilience to get to that point where you're able to make right decisions to win. And so until you get to that stage where your skill sets are able to help you to make the right decision, you don't give up. Because it's a matter of just keep going, because it gets to a point, it automatically opens. And that's the point you start to see exponential success.
Wow. If you just tune in, this is the Money Hub.
Mind blown.
That is the Money Hub. Mind blowing. Yes. I was very, very, how do I explain it? I was very confused walking into Money Hub today, because I was eager to hear what Kwabena has to say about it. Like I said, I'm just waiting for Kwabena to say one of those things, just to wake up. And I can't wake up. I'm down. I don't know what to do. But you see, today, what he's saying is so true. It is the amount of information, the quality of information that you have.
Yes, madam.
So point blank, if I'm down and I'm crying, it's because perhaps I am out of the right information.
That's it. So you're thinking you're failing. You just need to sleep, take water, maybe go for some vacation, and then keep fighting.
On the road.
Go sleep and wake up tomorrow to a brighter day.
Okay. Every day that we sit here, we remind you that one of the things that is very, very important is time. And time doesn't wait for anyone. And so if you want to plan your retirement and retire properly, the one place or the one dial that you need to have today is *714 *333#. Someone will most definitely give you a call so that you can start your personal pension plan with Enterprise Trustees. Now, we always bring you opportunities, and so Enterprise Trustees is one of the opportunities that I always bring to you. I feed you with things that will make you grow. Hear the sound of Kwabena Obendako. Hear the words that are coming. This is a $10,000 consultation. You're getting it for what? For free on Money Hub. One of the opportunities we're bringing to you is our mentorship program. Get in touch with us. One of the opportunities we're also bringing you is that we have, we partnered with some organization from the US coming into Ghana in March. And there's a workshop that is happening. If you are interested in starting a business and you don't have the resources, give us a call, 020-704-2140, and also dial *714 *333#. Let's start you on the right plan to plan properly for your retirement. If you just tuned in, our engineer who's engineering our minds, restructuring our minds to be on the proper road, Kwabena Obendako is our guest this afternoon. Kwabena, tell me, you just talked about some of the information that we have, or some of the structures, or some of what we think we know being wrong, quote unquote wrong, because of the jurisdiction we're in. If I find myself in Ghana, and from what you just said to me, I want to start a business, I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm already in business, or I'm feeling right now to say, wow, everything is just against us. What are we going to do? Taxes. Nobody's giving you money. I went to meet my bank. I was like, bank, You are there for us. Please, guys, what is going on? I've had all of those conversations. I'm like, what's going on?
Yes.
But it's because of the jurisdiction I'm in.
Yes.
Now, if I want to start now to build the proper structure
yes.
based on where I am,
yes.
to have the proper information based on where I am,
yes.
where would you say I start from? I'm saying that because most of our materials and resources are also outside.
Yeah, that's it. So there's a schism, there's separation.
Yeah.
And that's why many of us struggle. Because you have been pumped with so much, but there's no support, there's no infrastructure that supports that kind of pumping. That's right. So you need different kind of pumping.
Yeah.
And that's why we are saying that come to the ground. There should be that awareness that if you're doing work here, that's why most of the international businesses, when they come here and they buy into those who are successful. 100%. Acquisition. Yes. Because there's some knowledge in any environment. Yes. An environment is about 60% of success.
100%.
You see? So if the environment is not understood, then you're on that path to failure. And so you are saying that you are Casandra, you're Ghanaian, but really to go to the bank for 40% interest rate means that you're going to fail. Yes. But then they told you that you need support from a bank. But really, do you think this is a bank? It's not a bank. If they give you interest rate 40%, which means you pull that out and say, how do I do something without these institutions? At least from the beginning. Yeah. So out of all those, you don't look for a loan to start. And even if you need loan to grow, look at the interest rate. If it's double digits, think again. Because many people complicate their businesses and their lives just by going to these institutions, And the more educated or the more informed you are in business, the more you're careful with a lot of these guys and their loans. Yes. So you understand that, okay, I need to go as I am. Yeah. So you focus more on resourcefulness, organic growth. Yes. More discipline. So now you don't need a Land Cruiser when the business is struggling. You sell the Land Cruiser, get some other car. Exactly. Maybe you have to cut down to make sure that the business is at a very high leverage level. Then you can take something from it because you are running on a very lean. Because if you don't take care and you're just spending here and your income is here, you can just flip and collapse. But if there is a bit of allowance because you're lean, then there's always, no matter how much the economy complicates, you can still survive because then you are really in charge. The discipline is very high. And that's what you need to succeed. And it takes a lot of understanding or a lot of humility to accept that kind of understanding.
That's very true.
Yes.
Very true.
If you don't take that, you will struggle.
Because some of the structures we have is very high.
Yeah.
And it's not for
it's not for us. You know it. We do business and we do development, we do retail. A lot of what we do is opposite to what they recommend. Yes. And so there's not much pressure. Yes. There's a lot of, you are a bit relaxed. You still have to deal with a lot of the inefficiencies in the system, but at least the things that you can control, control them. Yes. So I'm not looking for data the government to be so good that, I'm not looking, maybe it will come, but I'm not looking up to them that much, And so if officials come and they are shouting, I understand why they shout, because they are working a system that suppresses their people. So I have to be just respectful, calm, work through them. No, that's right. If I employ a lady or a boy, I understand his psyche. He's looking for money to travel. He's looking for money to go to school. He's not there for my business to grow. So I understand that. Wow. And so when I'm employing, there's always a backup. Wow. And if I'm selling 10 and he's there selling 9, I take that. Take the 1 city. So that once 9 is profitable, we can go. So that you can multiply. So don't be so much afraid of losing. Grow. Have the growth mindset and know that you have to build with people. Yes. You say, I can't leave the shop for somebody to run. You kill yourself. That's right. Is it profitable? If they're there, continue to train them, expose them, because they're only working with what they know. Exactly. And you cannot just give up on our people to say that everybody is a thief. Everybody is not a thief. That's it. That's right. And keep training.
The circumstances.
Yes. So
and
there's
understanding the environment
and how we think. He wants to go to church on Sunday. You say they should open. That's right. Yes, so train them. That's what we have to deal with. Don't let that frustrate you. Or you give up. There's so many things that we have that are very good with what we have with our culture.
So we should just
focus on what we have. If your car falls in the gutter on the road, do you see how many guys will just come and pull you out? That's right. If the police officer stops you, do you think of him going to shoot you? That's it. He may ask one CD. That's okay. Just let him have something.
So
Don't complain so much.
That's
right. Too much.
I like that. That's a good new information to rise up from my bed.
Yes.
What do you think, Zipporah?
I feel like my brain has been reorganized. You know, it's been almost a year and a half now in Ghana, and I always have something new to say. Oh man, in South Africa, this would not be happening. Oh man, the credit system's working in South Africa, not here. But now I mean, since I started being at peace with the fact that, you know what, things are different here, but be who you are and do what you can with what you can control. Now applying that to business is another level that I didn't think about. So that has just opened my mind to another level.
Working on is you think that because you've hired someone, they should stay there and grow your business. They want to leave the country.
That's right.
They do.
They want to leave the country.
So now to give them the right kind of key performance, indexes that will actually suit them,
the environment,
suit you to the best of the abilities of the people you're hiring and your resources. Because people are hiring people for 700 Cs, but they're expecting
they're demanding a certain output.
They're demanding 5,000 worth of work, and
it's
you're just bleeding people who literally have no blood to give.
That's
so
right.
How to then do with what you have? What's your budget? Okay, this is what I'm expecting.
That's right. Yes, you should always.
That
for instance, people say that we
Oh,
Ghanaian time. Listen, when I was coming, if the worker has to be there 7 o'clock, he leaves at Amasamai. He takes how many trotters? Maybe 3 or 4. You say that you are in South Africa or America or somewhere. Well, how long? It's time, isn't it? They have certain level. I'm not saying it's better. That's right. So this is what we have. Somebody said that we should not give room for inefficiencies. You cannot demand efficiency without structure. So before you can train, have the structures in place, then you can demand whichever output. But if there is no output, you just have to manage and see how we get there.
I can already see how all of this is what is been weighing us down.
Yeah.
And it makes us feel...
And the lack of knowledge in these ways is what is making us feel like nothing is working. But if we come down to what we really have and what is available
to us, you see that we have done much. That's right.
Now, time is up. However, before you go, at what point do we say enough is enough? Because I know there's some point that is a breaking point.
Okay.
So at what point in life do we say no? This one,
you can't give up on yourself. You can give up on something that is not working, which is fair. So if it's not working, you feel like you can give up. You have tried 5 years and it's not 10 years, it's still not, and you have done all of it. Maybe you can try another one. Use the experience, transition to another area and try. But you can't give up on yourself.
Don't give up on yourself.
No.
We'll definitely have you another time. He's an engineer, entrepreneur, and most definitely he wires today. Our minds transformed. He's an author as well. Search for his books. Follow him on social media. What's your social media handle?
Obendako.
On
YouTube.
You definitely need to follow this man because I believe that there's a lot that we've got to learn from him, and it won't be in 30 minutes. We definitely need to search him, follow him, and move into his house. He came with his wife. As I mentioned, move into his house, Zipporah.
So we can learn more. We want to learn
more. We'll come your way again next week. Keep listening to Why.